Hey everybody, Jason Blaha here with Ice Cream Fitness. Today I'd like to talk to you about the subject of a glycemic index and the way that it affects body composition and what the actual scientific information is today on this subject. Hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Alright, now back to the subject matter at hand. Alright, on to body composition and the way that it's affected by glycemic index. This is, again, a topic that's heavily debated. There seems to be a lot of pseudo-experts who have opinions on it. There seem to be a lot of fad diets and even in diets that are being sold commercially that focus very heavily on the glycemic index. And, again, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, back when I was in school taking nutrition courses, this subject was still up for debate. It was suspected that glycemic index played a role in body composition, at least in sedentary and semi-sedentary populations, and it needed further study. And I mean, there was some evidence that it might make a difference. However, after it's been studied quite a bit over the years, it's pretty well been determined that both in sedentary populations as well as athletic populations, that it doesn't seem to have any meaningful impact. When it's studied closely, it doesn't appear that the type of carbs that you eat have any impact whatsoever on body fat gains or body fat loss outside of the context of their caloric value. So what you effectively find is that table sugar, brown rice, organic millet, ice cream, it doesn't really matter the source of your carbohydrates. It doesn't seem to matter the glycemic index, the absorption rate, or any of that when it comes to body composition, and it comes to impact on body fat. And again, the science is pretty overwhelming at this point. And I mean, it's really an open and shut case. I mean, there's just simply no evidence whatsoever that this is important in regards to body composition or your body fat. So again, anyone who claims to be an expert and they're espousing this, even if they're a medical doctor or they're a fitness guru or they're trying to sell you, some sort of product, these are generally people who are not up to speed on the current research and the information available. Again, this was up for debate a decade ago, but nutritional science has evolved greatly since then. I mean, we've mapped the human genome since then. We've developed more sophisticated testing methods. And again, now that we were actually able to study it in detail, it has turned out, and it's pretty overwhelmingly conclusive, that the absorption rate of carbohydrates or their individual insulinogenic response is, again, completely irrelevant to body composition. And even the insulin aspect, and people will still talk about this and the insulin response, but again, it's also overwhelmingly conclusive that acute insulin response, short-term insulin response from the food you eat doesn't have any meaningful impact on the amount of body fat you gain or lose. Again, what you find is that it's based entirely around calories. If you're not in a caloric surplus, it doesn't matter how much insulin your body produces, you're not going to gain any body fat. At least in the real world, obviously you're gaining and losing body fat every second of every day, in every one of your fat cells because, we're metabolically active creatures. But as far as actual meaningful scale weight, over a 24-hour period, no, or even weeks and months, it's not going to make any noticeable difference. So again, this is something that you don't need to concern yourself with, that you do not need to worry about if your concern is body composition or fat gain or fat loss. Again, carbohydrates have no impact on this outside of their basic caloric value. And that's all I have for you today. Let me give you one more bicep shot, and I'll talk to you next time.